Welcome or welcome back to the Unraveling Soprano. I'm Heather, and today we're going to talk about all of the plans I have for 2025. So to start off, I am wearing my Arinco, which is very wrinkly, very wrinkly. And in full disclosure, this is the second time I have tried to make this video. First time, it was a bit of a mess, and and for me to say it was a bit of a mess means it was really, really, really messy. Like I was like, I cannot put this out into the world. It is so chaotic. It doesn't make sense. So, take two. So what we're gonna do is I think that this year, instead of just having a random list, I'm gonna have a bit of a random list because I want some flexibility if like new designers come out with new patterns that I'm interested in. But I also wanted to kind of break things into quarters. So I felt like my goals were I still have illusions of grandeur. Like that's still a thing. Um, but I wanted to like kind of confine my plans a little bit so that I don't get too carried away because like I mean like my Ravelry favorites page is out of control and not indicative of real life. So I wanted to keep my 2025 plans grounded in reality. So, I'm going to talk about what I'm definitely going to be making in quarter one, and then the rest of the plans that I hope I get to without kind of sticking them into like specific months. So, the very first thing, and of course, it's all the way across the room. I thought I had everything prepared. Oof, okay, one second. Okay, the very first thing that I've started cast on in the year 2025 is the seedling shawl. That is from the 52 Weeks of Scars book and from Lane Publishing. And so far, so good. I'm doing this on a Hawthorne fingering from Knit Picks. Then the color is Sweet Home Tonal. And that is what it looks like. The texture's coming out really nicely. I originally was going to use this yarn for the Traveling Woman shawl, but I like the texture better. And this is pretty, it's an easy pattern. I just haven't memorized it yet, so it's kind of been a bit of a slog because it's slip stitches, and I'm constantly worried that I'm like messing it up. Like there's a particular point where it looks like there's a hole, but it's not, as I say this, but it's not like slipping down to create an actual hole. So I don't know. Stitch counts have been interesting. It's just a really dense fabric. I like it. I think I'll like the end product. I don't know. We're in the we're in a weird place with this right now, but I'm gonna keep working on it. If I find out that like I actually did create a hole, maybe I can go in and mend it. But I just can't tell because because of the slip stitches. Like it does kind of whatever I did, it has been anchored a little bit, but you can probably see it. Like something's going on there, like right there. I have no idea what though. Like it looks like I probably dropped a stitch, but like where? No clue. It's it's like deep in there. This is not the time and place. Oh, I found it. Oh no, I found my slip stitch. Or my, there she is. My drop stitch. All right, so we're gonna put this on a stitch marker, if I can find one. And I'm going to fix that later. That's annoying. I think that's the only place. Is there one more? Gosh darn it. I don't know if there's one more. Wait, is that maybe just a... Alright, we're gonna put another stitch marker in. I don't want to have to frog this again. It's taking me so long. We're gonna figure out that we're gonna do some. I'm not frogging this. We're getting this done. This is going to be a piece of my wardrobe. If I have to do some interesting things to make that work, we will do interesting things. But that is the very first. I don't know how well that's how well that bodes for 2025. The first product I touched is already causing me problems. The second project is going to be the Arrow sweater dress by Petite Knit, and I'm doing that in DK, a Knit Pick City Tweed, which is a DK. Sorry about the crinkling. Actually, I'm just gonna hold this up. Oh, nope, it's a glare. There's a glare. So this is the colorway. This really pretty yellow. And this is a bit of a risk because it's going to be a sweater dress. So it's going to be I'm going to look like a honeybee a little bit. But I'm here for it. I think that looks really good on me. Like, I think that this color works for me. So we're going for it. And that's going to be the Eros sweater dress by Petite Knit. Yeah, I feel like this year I'm gonna have so many tweed garments between this and the deep wood sweater, and like I have another tweed, the Dove 2. I'm gonna be covered in tweed, and I'm here for it. So the next one is a bit of an interesting one. So I want to do the campfire cardigan from the Ultimate Sweater Book, and I will put a picture of the campfire cardigan here. But I want to do it, originally I was going to do it in this color. This is the oatmeal steel cut oats color from Broco. It's the ultra alpaca worsted. So I was really going to do it in this. And then I ordered my stuff from Wool and Company, and they forgot to put a ball in the bag. So I contacted the customer service. The customer service was great. Unfortunately, this was on back order for 2 weeks, and they couldn't guarantee that they could get me the same dye lot. And normally with commercial yarn, I don't care, but I saw so many pictures of this particular yarn, and on Ravelry it looks like so many different colors. Like some of the colors lean more gray and some of them lean more brown. And what I didn't want was something that led more gray, because this is very close to washing me out. Like it's I think it's gonna be okay. I'm still gonna use this yarn, but it's like on the edge. If it leans more brown, then we're good. If it leans more gray, then it's probably gonna not be something I gravitate towards. And I didn't want there to be like a line for where I changed dye lots. I'm not positive that would have happened with this yarn, but like just because there was so much variation on Ravelry, and I know that some of that can be like people taking with different lighting and how what camera they're using. So I know that there's a lot of variation with like who's taking the photo, but I just didn't want to chance it, so I changed colors. And actually, I'm much happier with this. This is such a pretty color. What do you call it? Tiger Eye Mixed, I think. So exact same yarn, but it's very, cover my face, very orangey. And I think it looks weird with this sweater, but like it is really, really warm, which will pull out the warm undertones of my skin. So I think this is going to look really great. And it has a little bit of some variation in the color. So I think that even if at one point, if I need more yarn, this might be folly thinking. Because I think I got enough yarn. I got 7 balls of this, and I want to make the campfire cardigan a little longer. And I'm hoping that I haven't ever knit up Amy Herzog's patterns, but I'm always missing gauge because I am so loose with my knitting. My hope is that I am not I'm gonna be under gauge or over gauge, and then I get to size down. And then in my mind, that means I'll have less yarn. Yarn math is the hardest thing for me. If I don't do exactly what they say, I get confused on how much yarn. So but I want to knit this as long as I possibly can. So I got 7 balls. And they're 100-gram balls, right? Yeah, I believe they're 100-gram balls. They feel like 100-gram balls. So it's 700 grams of yarn. Yeah, it's 100-gram balls, 219 yards, 200 meters per ball. It's got to be. I mean, if nothing else, it's enough to knit the sweater as is. I would love it if it covered my butt a little bit, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. So that's going to be the campfire cardigan. We're going to come back to the oatmeal color in a minute. So for quarter one, I have the seedling shawl, the arrow sweater dress, the campfire cardigan, just kind of starting the campfire cardigan, and one more shawl. I'm going to do the autumn vibes. So the yarn is not going to match the title of the pattern, but I'm going to do the autumn vibe shawl from my 52 Weeks of Scarves book, and I'm going to do it in this colorway. This is, I showed this a while ago. This is the Springwater Multi. It's a Hawthorne DK weight from Knit Picks. I think this is really going to be great. The autumn shawl, autumn vibe shawl. Where is that? Sorry. Do, do, do. One through 6. This is riveting. So it's, I think that that's gonna take to the colors really nicely. I mean, it's a thicker shawl. It's made for the winter. I think it's gonna be great. I'm hoping it's a little easier than the seedling shawl because seedling shawl, as I've said before, is causing me trouble. So those are my quarter one plans. Sorry, my computer just fell asleep. So now I just realized I forgot to grab some yarn. Hold, please. Hopefully, editing Heather has taken out the gap where I was looking through my yarn stash. So the next thing I'm going to, these are just plans I have, and the yarn, if I have the yarn, I'll show you the yarn. But these are not in a specific order. Like some are much more spring and much more summer. But I've showed this before. This is the alpaca lace in, I think, Heathcliff. Stop looking at my. This is not going to focus because it really wants to focus on my eyes. There it goes. So we're going to make the Concasta cardigan from Memory Lane with this one. And that's a lace pattern. So this is going to take me a pretty long time. My thought process is that I'm going to be working on I think the arrow sweater dress is actually going to be okay because it's mostly stockinette. There's some interesting construction with where you work it flat for the yoke. And I'm not sure I have enough yarn for that because Petite Knit holds 2 strands of yarn for her sample to get a DK weight. Um, but I'm just using a DK weight because I don't really love holding two strands together. Um, so I think I have enough. My plan with that sweater is to knit the yoke up until like where, because I want to do some waist shaping. I'm gonna try. There's a blog by Amy Herzog that talks about waist shaping and a different way to do it instead of at the side, to do it like kind of like fisheye darts. Um, so we're gonna try that, but I'm gonna knit it to like just underneath the bust, and then I'm gonna knit the sleeves and the neckline, so I know that like if I have to buy more yarn, that is all one colorway, like one dye lot, and if I have to change dye lots, like in the skirt portion, if there's a slight colored variation, I'm not gonna be too bugged by it. Or I'll just knit the thing shorter because it will grow because it's a superwash yarn. Superwash grows. The dress is also um in the pattern notes, it says this dress will grow 2 inches anyways, and I think superwash yarn will make it grow even more. Um, maybe even up to like maybe a half an inch, maybe up to an inch. So that I'll be working on that for like the probably the rest of January, maybe into February, and then I'll switch to the seedling or the campfire cardigan and knit that probably up until it turns into spring, and then move on to the Concaster cardigan, Conacasta cardigan. That is my thinking, because the Conacasta cardigan feels much more fall spring. It's a darker fall color, but I think that it will read like I can wear it in the spring. Um, the next sweater I want to work on, and I have no idea when I'm going to work on. This is when this is coming back. I think I want to work. I think I want to purchase the zipper sweater by Petite Knit and do a zipper sweater in this. So I know I said in a previous podcast that I already had a zipper sweater. I didn't need one, but due to some unfortunate events, there is a big rip in it. Not because of not because of like washing or wearing. It was just like it happened, and it's not necessarily the thing about the sweater. The sweater probably could have lasted another year or so, but it got a big old hole in it. So I have to make another sweater, and I I was thinking about making a quarter zip anyways. The what I like about the Petite Knit quarter knit, because I don't love using all the same pattern designers, especially all the same pattern designers everybody uses. But what I like about that particular pattern is a lot of stockinette, and it's not like a fisherman's rib, at least like the zipper sweater light. I know that that yarn is a little bit too heavy, but I think because she's a tight knitter, I'm actually gonna be closer to gauge if I use a worsted instead of like I think she uses a DK. Um, so we'll see. We'll see where that fits in. That might not even get touched on until the fall, just because of timing. And I will have sweaters. Um, the next one I want to um next sweater I want to talk about is the wrap over cardigan, and I want to get that cut patterns coming from this book. And I will put a picture on it, but it calls for fingering weight yarn, and I have no idea what yarn I want to use for this wrap over cardigan. This is definitely feels like a spring knit. And I think it is, was it lace weight? This might be actually be a lace weight. So yeah, I have no idea what I want to, the suggested yarn is Rowan Fine Lace, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I don't know if they hold it double. If they hold it double, I'll use a fingering. I'll have to double check. Eh, I'll have to read this in a little bit more intuitive, like just dig into it a little bit and see what the actual gauge is. So I have no idea what I want to knit that in. I'm leaning towards, this is like my year of working with alpaca fibers, but I'm leaning towards either an alpaca or like a Knit Picks palette, like a Peruvian wool, something that has a little bit of fluff to it, maybe. I don't know. I'm still like, I'm like going through all the yarn websites, going like, what is inspiring me, and I just don't know what the color. I think if I can nail down the color, I'll nail down the yarn pretty quickly. So I just need that to sit, and I probably will just need to like get some inspiration from like trend boards and see what is trending in the spring, what colors are trending, and what colors kind of fit into my wardrobe. So that is the wrap over sweater. Next, I want to do some more socks. I have some sock yarn, random sock yarn. I want to try a new sock pattern because I've done the everyday sock, DRK everyday sock, so much this winter. I want to try a different sock pattern. I don't know what yet. I forgot something. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I just had a mild panic that I wasn't recording and I couldn't really tell, so I had to go check that. It's like I've been talking for like 20 minutes. Am I actually recording? Um, so, the next thing, so we talked about all the sweaters. Yeah. So we talked about all the sweaters I want to make. I'm sorry, I want to need to adjust. Okay. And now I have I have one more knit. I think it's going to be a knit project. I'm actually not sure. So I have a skein of this. There we go. Focus. Don't focus on my elbow. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, there we go. Very weirdly, I just wanted to focus like right here. I'm like, don't do that. So this is Kismet in Luminous Knit Picks Luminous lace weight. It's a silk yarn. So I want to make a head wrap with this. I think this is enough yarn. I don't have a pattern in mind. My thought process is to just find out what the average dimensions of a headscarf is, and then just do a garter stitch square. That's my thinking right now. I just want something to throw my hair up in a color that's not blue, because I find that like getting motivation to film, like I always have the motivation to film, but sometimes my hair does not cooperate. Having wavier hair that just has a mind of its own. I cannot control it 90% of the time. And sometimes I want to film, but like this is just not cooperating. It looks not presentable, in my opinion. So being able to throw it up into a hair scarf is kind of like just a mental saver. Like it's just like one more thing I don't have to worry about. So if I can, and if I can knit it, I make a project, beautiful. So I haven't been able to find anything that I really, really like. So I think I might just do that square because that's like, I don't need a pattern for that. I can just make that up. So that's what I want to do with that. Then I have a crochet project that I wanted to do. So it's the tiered, excuse me, tiered maxi skirt by, I think it's Natalie Kononova. It's the same, I'll put you know what, I'll just put the picture with the designer. It's the same designer who designed those snowflakes that I had hanging for Christmas. So it is a very long-term project. Crochet is faster than knitting, so it's not like going to take me months and months, but it's definitely a summer project. Something I want to wear by the end of summer. I have to do the lining as well, so that I think I have extra cotton in my stash, so I'm just going to do just a little lining. I don't know if it comes with it. I don't know if I've purchased this pattern yet. Maybe I have. I know it's like in my favorites. But anyways, so I'd figure out the lining. I also don't have no idea what crochet cotton to work with. I know Knit Picks has, it's like the weight is like a ten weight cotton. Um, but I don't know what color. Because I really like the color in the sample, but I don't know if that's going to be a great color for me. I want something a little bit richer because it's just like a linen-y beige color. And it's one of those things kind of like the wrap over cardigan. When I see the color, I think that I'll be like, yes, this is what is going to match up. And I just haven't been able to find that yet. I also there's not a whole lot of brands available in the US. Like Knit Picks was pretty much the one with the most color options. And I didn't like their browns. Like their brown, they have a very if I wanted to make it in like a fuchsia, amazing. But I wanted to make it in more of a neutral color. Um, so what are your suggestions for crochet cotton? Do you have any? Like I know I think she used sheepies. I'm not saying that right. And I know that like there's some like there's the Joanne's brand, but again, I didn't really like the colors that came in. So, but that's going to be future Heather's problem. Other project that I'm thinking about doing, I want to do a linen 40s inspired dress. So I'm looking at the folkwear pattern sporty 40s dress. I have some orange linen that I need to do something with. It's been sitting in my stash for a couple of years, so I'd like to actually make that into a garment. I would like to make some linen pants because I always wear linen pants, and if I can find something that is a tightly woven linen, I'm going to make some linen pants. But that's again going to be fabric or material contingent. If I can't find the right material, I'm not making the pants. Um, I want to make a wrap skirt. I've already made one wrap skirt that I have like I think it's like a new look pattern. But again, if I can't find the right fabric, if I don't have the right fabric in my stash, if I'm not inspired with what I have, and if I can't really find something in the right price point, I'll probably just skip that. I need to finish my quilt. That will be probably a big focus. I, there's also I want to try again the Knit Picks or not Knit Picks, the Petite Knit, the Weekender headband. It's a double knit project. So I want to try double knitting again. That's like kind of like in the techniques. So as far as special techniques, I want to give my hand. I want to try that lace project, the Konakasta cardigan. I want to try double knitting. I'm going to try steeking. We're going to do it, but I'm doing it with a different pattern. I forget what pattern I have chosen. Give me 1 second. I always need to keep Ravelry open. I don't know why I always forget that. I have my notes, but I don't have my Ravelry open. So I'm going to be making, to practice my steeking, the Diamond Bag by Kyle Kanecki. You can buy the pattern online, and also I think that there's a class on Craftsy, which I'm a member of. Um, and I'm hoping that that's enough to like get me through. It's this cute little notions bag, which I always need a notions bag. And I think I'm going to use, it calls for a worsted yarn. I still have a lot of that Lions brand yarn left over. So I think I'm just going to use the 2 colors I have of that. And hope that that is enough. I'm also going to, soon, I'm going to actually try my hand at Kool-Aid dyeing my Dove 2 sweater. And then I will also probably dye the remainder of that yarn so I can use that yarn in the diamond bag. I don't know if it's necessarily enough of that white yarn, but it'll be fine. I think so. I think it's enough. I don't think you even use, yeah, you use like 100 to 125 yards for the entire thing. And I think I have 125 yards. Um, so those are there's some other techniques I wanted to like, so this is not, I don't have projects for these, but these are just random techniques that I want to like kind of master this year. Um, so I've got the steeking. I want to try mosaics knitting again. I don't have a project, but I just kind of want to try mosaic knitting. I want to figure out a granny square. Don't know how to do a granny square in crochet. I want to figure that out this year because I feel like there's so many projects you can do with a granny square. Granny squares are very popular, and I just don't know how to do it. Um, if I can find it, and this might be again illusions of grandeur, if I can find a inexpensive drop spindle and some fiber, I might try spinning, maybe. But again, that will be like maybe like in the fall. Um, I want to put that on the very tail end because it's not something that I can just, it's not a technique I can just figure out with scrap yarn. It's not a free technique. I have to invest in it. So I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to invest. Where the learning to double knit, granny squares, steeking, what's the other one? Mosaic knitting. I can do all of that with stuff that I have around my house. So those are techniques that are just pure like for the process, for the learning. And there's no financial investment in that. So I feel more confident in doing that. So I think that's it. I think I've gotten through, yeah, I think I've gotten through it all. Those are my 2025 plans. These are so subject to change. The only thing that's really set in stone right now is probably the seedling shawl because I have started it. But I will keep you updated what my project progress is through my podcast episodes. My goal also for the channel is to do at least one extra video a month. Two is my so my good is just getting podcasts. My better is one extra video. My best is two extra videos. So I don't want to like time myself in because I have no idea what this year will bring me. But let me know what your plans are. Let me know what techniques that you're interested in learning. How are you growing your craft this year? And what would you like to see on the channel? That's always helpful if there's like a special technique. Again, like I think I have everything pretty like locked in, but it's always good to have like a running tab of things that people want to see. Because I find that when I'm learning a technique, the more times I can see other people do it, it gives me confidence that like I too can do the thing. Especially when like it's people that are not like it's great to see the professionals, like the people who are really advanced knitters do it. I love that because I actually like what do I do? How do I practically do the thing? But then when I see people who are like not so great, more my level, do the thing and not have it end in disaster or have it end in disaster and come through it. I find that super helpful. So that's kind of what I want to be because I am not an expert. So let me know what techniques that you want to learn, what you want to see. I can't promise for 2025, but maybe for 2026. But yeah, so until I see you next time, I hope you have a wonderful beginning of 2025 and happy knitting. Bye!